It's turning up. I want to start by giving all the praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shem Shai Bashem Chakwadash. That ones to the elder apostles of the great millstone who rule well, and as always, peace and salutations to the hopeful elect tabernacle of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And before I even begin, let's start this off with Ezekiel chapter 7 and starting at verse 5. And it reads, Thus saith the Lord power, an evil, an only evil, behold, is come. An end is come, the end is come, it watcheth for thee. Behold, it is come. The morning is come unto thee, O thou dwellest in the land. The time is come, the day of trouble is near, and not the sounding again of the mountains. And we're headed for that time, man. All right. We're coming into perilous times. We're coming into the evil day. Thus, we ought to walk circumspectly. All right, this is our 1 Peter 4, verse 7. But the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer. All right. And apparently there's certain dudes that ain't watching because you got a few, silly ass, special remedial peculiar Israelites out there that are actually saying that Jacob's trouble already done passed, and some that are saying that we're not going to see Jacob's trouble, it's not going to happen. Well, if you believe any of the things that these type of dudes are saying, then prepare for the worst. All right. The simple believeth every word, but the prudent man look well to what's going. All right. It also says in Proverbs 22:3. Let me get that real quick. It says, "A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished." So that's on you. But we definitely know that we're coming into that time. All right. And we can't be asleep as others. The scriptures say, let us be sober and not sleep as others. And that brings me to a couple of these clips that I got. So apparently, all along, like the scripture said, that this devil want to cast some of us into the prison, which they call it detention center, internment camp, concentration camp, quarantine, whatever you want to call it. This devil has the legislation now set in place, and it's starting with these blue states, these democratic ran states, where they're implementing this legislation. All right, so this devil, he's gonna take it up a notch from 2021, and what you see happening in Australia is going to start taking place right here in Babylon, and that's when all bets are off. That's when it's going to be wartime. You already got Edomites that's reacting to this, making TikTok videos, and they cocking their guns, cocking their weapons, loading their clips up. So it's gonna get turned up, man. As the spirit has been getting on brothers to constantly say. All right, starting with the elder apostle Tahar that coined the year, year of the turn up. So without further ado, I'm gonna play a few of these clips, and then we gonna get some more precepts, and I'm gonna also visit this legislation. Now we know the scriptures say he frameth mischief by law. All right, and that's just to condemn, the righteous. This devil has been plotting against the just for a while. They've been having secret councils, secret meetings about this entire time. This has always been in the plans of the wicked super rich elite. And they have all these governors and puppet leaders in the place to enforce these unrighteous, tyrannical measures. All right, under the guise of you know, a medical safety. under a man-made manufactured crisis that they will never let go to waste. Let's say you should get an advantage of us. We're not ignorant of his devices. So without further ado, let's listen to these clips. These are Edomites, reacting and speaking out, responding to this legislation that they have, according to this Washington State uh, proposal. All right, so let's listen.
Next week, the Washington State Board of Health will discuss applying current infectious disease codes to include COVID-19 for all Washington State residents. This is Washington State's government website. That's the code right there. It says procedures for isolation and quarantine. This is the very first sentence. It says at his or her sole discretion, which means it's up to them. A local health officer may issue an emergency detention order causing a person or group of persons to be immediately detained for purposes of isolation or quarantine. It states that they can take the person or group of persons into involuntary detention for purposes of isolation or quarantine.
When it says involuntary, that means force.
It says that the local health officer has to first make reasonable efforts, which shall be documented, to obtain voluntary compliance with requests for medical examination, testing, treatment, counseling, vaccination, decontamination of persons or animals, isolation, quarantine, and inspection and closure of facilities, or has determined in his or her professional judgment, their sole discretion professional judgment, that seeking voluntary compliance would create a risk of serious harm. If you don't comply, a local health officer may invoke the powers of police officers, sheriffs, constables, and all other officers and employees of any political subdivisions within the jurisdiction of the health department to enforce immediately orders given to evacuate the purposes of this section. If a local health officer orders the immediate involuntary detention of a person or group of persons for purposes of isolation or quarantine, the emergency detention order shall be for a period not to exceed 10 days. But then it
I wonder why not to exceed 10 days. I mean, a scripture just popped up in my head, as he mentioned that 10 days, huh? But let's keep it going.
goes on to say a local health officer may petition the Superior Court for an order authorizing the continued isolation or quarantine for up to 30 days.
So from 10 days to up to 30 days, that's a freaking month. Watch, man. Watch how this devil shows his horn. See, we know the prophecies say that this beast would arise up with two horns as a lamb, but he's gonna speak as a dragon. And oh, he's speaking all right. And this is just you know, this is just the introduction to what this devil is set out to accomplish. He wants major control over the human population, man. So he's gonna come down with that force. Revelation 12 and 12. For the devil has come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time.
Do you see the abuse of power yet? Do you see it? Because it's literally stating that they can take you away for 30 days, involuntary detaining you if you don't comply next week.
And that's what it boils down to, compliance, man. He wants you to bow down to his image, the image of the beast. All right, because unto that beast was given great authority. Revelation 13 and 1, it says, and I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. All right, when this beast is talking about the reemergence and power of the Roman Empire, which started, with the Greeks, right? And his feet were as the feet of a bear. All right, and this same beast is basically in the midst of a conflict with a bear. All right, it's constantly poking a bear right now. So you already know what's getting ready to happen. It says in his mouth as the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power. Talking about Rome, the Roman Empire, and his seat and great authority. All right, let's look up that word authority, and that's where all this tyranny comes from. And the word is exousia, and it says the power of choice, liberty of doing as one pleases, leave or permission, physical and mental power, the ability or strength which with which one is endued, which he either possesses or exercises the power of authority, influence, and of right privilege, the power of rule or government. All right, and this is Esau. He has the power to control, to rule through his unrighteous, oppressive decrees. The power of him whose will and commands must be submitted to by others and obeyed. And guess what? If you don't, he's just gonna cross you out as an enemy, as a terrorist, as basically you're an insurgent. All right, and therefore you have no use in his so-called you know developing society. Where they have these sustainable developments according to their agenda 2030, where they want to control basically all facets of living, monopolizing all markets. All right, moving in with their transitional world order. All right, so if you're getting in the way of that, they need to put you away, get you up out of their hair, so to speak. All right, so this is what we up against right now. All right, and that's why the Lord is going to have to eventually come down and break in pieces this same beast, this same power structure has gained so much authority and power over the world, and is constantly, pressing the world. All right. So anyway, let's go over here real quick, and this is your boy Alex Jones, and he's speaking on it.
12 states now have legislation introduced, set to pass in several, just like Australia, but worse. Australia is finally getting there, but the legislation in places like Washington and New York says you can be taken for not being injected, not just if you, quote, have COVID, and you can be kept in the facilities for punishment. And now what do you see happening in Australia? They're now keeping people because, quote, they made a phone call or they walked outside the line. They don't let you step off your front porch in these camps. Hell, the ones in Hong Kong, you can't even go out on a porch. And if you step across the line, 14 more days. There are some people in Australia have been in there 3 months. Again, they're just segueing into these being re-education camps. They are re-education camps. And the Washington Post, they just showed the headline. It's like, ooh, the walls are closing on the anti-vaxxers.
And I'm going to stop right there. And these things are happening in these other various countries. So as you can see, this devil, he is definitely closing in, man. He's tightening the grip. And that's going to cause more, rebellion from, the masses of the people, man. All right. And while this is going on, you also have a food shortage where, more and more stores and markets, you're seeing empty shelves, higher prices of products that they have in stores. And then there's also empty shelves where they don't have anything in stock. because all the supply chains are all being disrupted, and it's been disrupted, for quite some time now. And now we're starting to see bits and effects of it, which is going to worsen with time. So those of you that are saying that there's no Jacob's trouble or it already passed, then what do you say that this time that we're coming into right now? What time do you say that is? Are we not living in Bible prophecy? If you're saying that Jacob's trouble or the time of tribulation already passed, then what the hell is this time we're coming into? We know that Yahweh Shai said these are the beginning of sorrows. So what's leading into that? So let's real quick. Let's go to Matthew 24 and 21. And it says, "For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be saved." All right. It's like it shall those days be shortened. Okay. So that's why these days are going by pretty quickly, man. All right, because this devil, he's gonna go full throttle with it, man. And we know that his main hatred is directed towards new tribes. It's always been in them to cut you off from being a people. So when it gets super bad, the Lord's gonna have to send that divine intervention. All right, it says that in Daniel 12 that even Michael's have to come down and the great prince and stand for the children of the people. Because there's going to be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. So we're definitely going to need that help, in which our Lord Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is going to help us. All right. So anyway, now watch this real quick. Now this news site, this news outlet has to come out and actually do damage control for them. Now that people then found out and they did the research for themselves. All right. And they sent all type of emails to the government. So now they got these reporters pretty much lying to the people, because it says what it says right in their legislation. But watch how they spin it.
Well, claims are going around that Washington politicians are trying to create laws that would allow them to force unvaccinated people into quarantine. This comes as the state's Board of Health is set to decide on changes to certain quarantine rules.
So our own Ian Smay looked into that law and checked with the experts to verify. Ian?
The State Board of Health has received thousands of emails about an agenda item to be discussed at a meeting this week. So we set out to verify if claims that the state is considering forcing some to quarantine are true. One viewer emailed us claiming state lawmakers are considering adding COVID to an existing quarantine law. They asked in part, does this proposal allow health officials to use law enforcement to force an emergency order to involuntarily detain a person or group in a facility if the person or group refuses to comply with requests for medical treatment, testing, counseling, or vaccination? Our sources are Washington State Board of Health Chair Keith Grellner and House Bill 1551, which deals with quarantining. According to Grellner, this claim is far from the truth.
Just to be really clear, our board meeting on Wednesday is
Yeah. Why? Look at this dude's look. Come on, man. Look at this dude's smile. His little half smile.
According to Grellner, this claim is far from the truth.
just to be really clear, our board meeting on Wednesday is there are no.
When they get them talking like that with that look on their face, you know they lying. Come on, man. But that's Esau. They lie naturally, like blinking. You know, lying to them is just like it's second nature to them, man. It's just that easy. It's like blinking, the blinking of an eye. That's how they lie, man.
No conversations about isolation and quarantine camps. There are no rules existing or in the making to create isolation and quarantine camps.
The Board of Health is looking at making changes to a current part of the Washington Administrative Code to make it more in line with changes brought forth by House Bill 1551 in 2020. That bill removed outdated language from the 1980s that targeted people with HIV/AIDS. According to Grellner, the state isn't trying to forcibly quarantine those with COVID-19 or who are unvaccinated.
There are no rules and there is no process in place to create a rule to involuntarily quarantine or isolate COVID-19 positive people, irregardless of vaccination status. There are no laws and no plans to do that.
He also
Yeah, all right. Well, what are they doing over in Australia right now? What are they doing over in China right now? Y'all swear up and down y'all not gonna, follow suit. Yeah, we believe you. But this is the actual website, the Washington State Legislature. All right. And here's the number, the WAC 246-100-040, procedures for isolation or quarantine. All right. And it has it all mapped out all right here. All right. You don't think that they're eventually going to take this and apply it to the Crown Royal, man? Come on, man. But it's all right here. They can't act like this is not in the legislation. And I'll leave a link to this in the description box. Right? Because, the Edomite on the TikTok, he pretty much broke it down. He read from it. It's right here, right in your face. But these devils got to get on and they got to do damage control and they got to lie right in front of you. That's why the scriptures say, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness, man. Let me get us Psalms 55 and 21. It says the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. All right, he'll talk a good game. He'll speak, and have you, putting your guard down. Assure you that everything's gonna be all right. It's not what you hear or what you seeing, and then turn around and show you that he's the damn devil, man. So why would you trust or believe anything that comes out of his lips? Okay. So we know what time it is. All right, and we know that the scriptures tell you that the devil shall cast some of you into prison. This is prophecy, so it's definitely true. Revelation 2 verse 10, fear none of these things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that you may be tried. All right, and that's the purpose of going through tribulation, is so that your faith will be tested. If there is no tribulation to look forward to, then how could you say that you've been battle tested? How could you say that you're worthy of the salvation? We all got to be put to the test. It says, and you shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. All right. And eventually, if this is how they're going about it, just over the damn juice, how much more when they mandate the charagma? That's when they really gonna come for us, man. All right, that's the final step. That's the final solution right there. All right, it tells you that in the Apocrypha that they're gonna try to feed you idol with something offered unto idols, and those that give consent, you're gonna be had in derision. And this is how we know that we're gonna be tried in this moment. That's why the scriptures talk about there being an hour of temptation. Revelation 3 verse 10. Because you have kept the word of my patience, I will keep thee from the hour of temptation. It's going to try everybody that dwell on the earth. So this is our 2 Ezra 16. Yeah, 2 Ezra 16 and 68, and it says, for behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. All right, and that damn that juice is a thing offered unto idols, because these are physicians of no value, man. You know, they're telling you to compromise your belief to the Most High, and you know the Heavenly Father's ability to naturally or miraculously heal you, as opposed to his pharmaceutical industry, which is dealing with straight up sorcery. All right, and their pharmaceutical industry is based off of you know, Greek mythology. That's the gods that they make their oaths to, and now they're telling you to trust them and bow to them and allow them to try to heal you and put that substance into your body. When you know these bodies that we have, you know, we're supposed to glorify the Heavenly Father in these bodies, not the devil. All right, we're not to allow him to defile our temple. So it says, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision. You give in to this devil, hey, the joke is on you, and they gonna be, you know, that means that they won over you. They got the beast, the devil got the victory over you. All right, it says, and in reproach and trodden underfoot, and there shall be in every place in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. You see that? And those that fear the Lord, you're gonna be considered an enemy of the state. All right, you're considered, you know, the terrorists, the extremists of the world. So they're gonna definitely come for us. They know who we are. Even if you ain't out there on the highways and byways, if you ain't doing what we doing, but if you watching and you click and like on it, they watching you too. So that's all of us. It says they should be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling, destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. You know, they're gonna come into your homes, and if you got a stash, if you've been prepping, they're gonna take that out of there and they're gonna snatch you up. All right, the UN, the National Guard, all them different troops, they're definitely been in the country, you know, for a minute now. They've been deploying all type of military equipment all throughout the country. So they've been preparing for these stages. It says, then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. All right. Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. All right, going back to Jeremiah 30:7. All right, let's go over there. Since dudes are saying that that's already passed or it's not going to happen, well, I'm proving right now that that's false. Jeremiah 30:7, it says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it, is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. All right, the Lord's going to save a remnant from out of Jacob's trouble or of the great tribulation. All right, it says, be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your guide, and the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith the Lord power. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquity lift up themselves. All right. So the Lord's going to guide us, man. And, you know, some of us are going to be cast into the prison that we may be tried. Some of us are going to be escaped from that. We know that when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Lord's going to lift up a standard against them. All right. And then it also says in Psalms 91 that he's going to give angels charge over us. Psalms 91 and 11, it says, for he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. That's why the Lord said he's your guide. He's going to guide us. All right. So we're gonna be taking the safety, man. But we know 2/3 of our people, they're gonna be the ones getting caught up. All right. Even Biden, he made a statement recently. He said it's the reason why the African Americans are not getting it. So their primary focus is on you Negroes, man, which is the tribe of Judah. They still you looking for you as a whole to comply, and there's still Jake that ain't complying. They seeing what the deal is, but he actually admitted and said because there's been experiments conducted on him. And people were shocked that he actually said that on live, man. So you already know, man. These devils, they're aiming for new tribes. So that's why this is known as Jacob's trouble. But everybody's gonna come up under this tribulation. And once you get through it, Lord willing, you brothers and you sisters that are in the faith, and you remain in the faith and endure to the end, you'll be among those who's gonna come out of great tribulation, and the Lord's gonna reward you. Let's get Revelation 7:14. Because it talks about the 144,000 and then the great multitude, right? Revelation 7:13, it says, and one of the elders answered, saying unto me, what are these which are arrayed in white robes, and whence came they? And I said unto him, Sir, thou knowest. And he said to me, these are they which came out of great tribulation, and have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. All right, they were made clean by the blood of Yahushua. All right, and they were chosen before the foundation of the world. All right, they loved not their lives unto death. They followed the Lamb whithersoever he went. They didn't backslide. They didn't draw back to perdition. All right. So this is what's coming, man. We're coming into the time of trouble, man. The Lord said he's going to bring plagues upon the world, famine, death, and destruction. All right. He's going to bring, captivity. And that's what we're heading into. You got Bear Shells Biden trending, all over social media because of those, empty shelves. And that's in the prophecy too, 2nd Ezra 6. That was it, 22, 24. It says, excuse me. It talks about, sown places appearing unsown and storing houses appearing empty. And that's what we're seeing right now. So we're going to have to go through all that, but the Lord's going to bring us out of it. All right, with his right hand, man, with a strong arm. We just got to constantly believe and continue in the faith. All right. So anyway, I'm gonna end off right there. I just want to go into that. Y'all saw the clips. You saw the news basically do damage control and blatantly lie. And you know what the scriptures say about this devil, man. He's a natural born liar. And then I showed you the legislation. So here it is, man. So with that, I'm gonna give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And to the next lesson, Shalom.